Power can command armies. Wealth can build kingdoms. But wisdom builds lives. In the grand court of Emperor Akbar, there were jewels, gold, warriors, poets, and scholars. But the rarest treasure in that court was not made of gold. It was Birbal's mind. And one day, a single challenge in that royal court changed not only a man's fate, but the way the entire empire understood obstacles. One bright morning in the magnificent palace of Akbar, the emperor sat on his throne, deep in thought. Beside him stood his most trusted adviser, Birbal, calm and observant as always. The court was full. Ministers stood proudly. Generals whispered among themselves. Scholars adjusted their robes. Suddenly, Akbar spoke. "Tell me," he said firmly, "what is the greatest obstacle in a man's life?" The court fell silent. One minister said, "Poverty, Your Majesty." Another said, "Enemies." A third declared, "Bad luck." Akbar listened, but his eyes turned toward Birbal. "And you, Birbal?" Birbal folded his hands respectfully. "The greatest obstacle," he said softly, "is the wall inside a man's own mind." The court murmured. Akbar leaned forward. "Prove it." The next day, Akbar ordered a massive brick wall to be built in the royal courtyard. Tall, thick, impossible to cross. When it was finished, the emperor gathered the entire court. "Today," Akbar announced, "anyone who can cross this wall without breaking it shall receive a reward of 100 gold coins." The ministers looked at the wall. It was far too high to climb, too thick to push. Guards surrounded it. One by one, brave men tried. They jumped, they pushed, they searched for cracks. After hours of effort, all failed. Finally, Akbar turned to Birbal. "Now tell me," he said, "how does the mind break this wall?" Birbal smiled gently. "I never said we must break it, Your Majesty." The court grew curious. Birbal requested a ladder. The ministers laughed. "There is no ladder tall enough," one shouted. Birbal calmly asked the royal carpenter to bring wood and rope. Within hours, a strong ladder was built, tall enough to reach the top. Birbal placed it against the wall and slowly climbed. When he reached the top, he turned and bowed to the emperor. The court erupted in surprise. Akbar smiled. "You did not break the wall." "No, Your Majesty," Birbal replied. "I simply stopped believing it was impossible." But Birbal wasn't finished. He climbed down and addressed the court. "Many of you tried to push the wall," he said. "You believed the only way forward was through it." He paused. "But obstacles are not always meant to be destroyed. Sometimes they are meant to be understood." He turned to Akbar. "The wall outside is not the problem. The wall inside, the belief that this cannot be done, is the real prison." The courtyard was silent. Even the ministers who had laughed lowered their heads. Akbar, impressed but thoughtful, decided to test Birbal once more. "Very well," the emperor said. "If the mind is the greatest obstacle, then tell me this. Why do some men remain poor, weak, or defeated even when opportunity stands before them?" Birbal looked around the courtyard and pointed to the ladder. "Because, Your Majesty, not everyone is willing to build the ladder." "Explain." "Building the ladder requires effort, patience, creativity, and courage. It is easier to complain about the wall than to work on a solution." Akbar nodded slowly. Among the guards standing nearby was a young soldier named Rahim. He had grown up poor. He believed he would always remain unnoticed and unimportant. That night, Rahim could not sleep. Birbal's words echoed in his mind. "The wall inside you is the real prison." Rahim realized something painful. He had built his own wall. He had always believed, "I am just a guard. I cannot rise higher. I am not capable." The next morning, instead of performing his duties lazily, Rahim began training harder. He practiced swordsmanship at sunrise. He studied military strategies at night. Months passed. His skills improved. His confidence grew. 1 year later, during a sudden attack on a border village, Rahim led a small group of soldiers with remarkable bravery. When the news reached Akbar, the emperor recognized him publicly. Rahim, once invisible, became a respected commander. And when asked about his transformation, he said only one thing: "I stopped pushing the wall and started building my ladder." Birbal heard this and smiled quietly. Years later, Akbar would often repeat Birbal's lesson to visiting rulers and scholars. "Obstacles do not block the path. They reveal the path." If something seems impossible, it is often because the mind has accepted defeat before action begins. Life will build walls: failure, rejection, loss, criticism, fear. You may try to break them with anger. You may complain about their height. Or you may build a ladder. The ladder is made of patience, learning, persistence, belief. The point of the story: the most powerful prison has no bricks. The strongest wall has no cement. It is built quietly by doubt. And the key to breaking it is not strength, but perspective. Like Birbal showed in Akbar's court, success does not belong to those who face no obstacles. It belongs to those who refuse to believe the obstacle is the end. Because in life, the wall is rarely the problem. The real question is, are you willing to build your ladder?
Thank you for watching video. Please like and subscribe this channel.